Welcome to another Workshop Wednesday, everybody. You'll have to excuse the hood. The mosquitoes are pretty bad up here and I can't film this inside, so we're just going to deal with it. Today we're covering my e-bike. I did kind of a mix skit unboxing with this during the build series, so let's take a quick reflection and check it out.
Gotta bust into it. Oh, it's a heavy one. Oh, dang it. The garbage so I don't get in trouble. Freaking full suspension e-bike, dude. Fuck.
Mick, what are you doing, man? Oh, did you hurt yourself?
It's bad. It's real bad. Oh, vaporized the kneecap. Oh, there's blood everywhere. I can feel it.
I really don't think it's that bad, man. You just hit that box.
Ooh, can you look at it? Can you take a look at it?
Yeah, it looks fine.
You know what? Oh, I don't think it broke the skin.
Well, you certainly wrecked the box that the bike's not even supposed to be out of yet.
Ooh, it's not?
It's a sponsored product, man. I still have to make a video on it.
Ooh. When you make your video, you should clarify that scratch already there.
I've been able to put quite a few miles onto this bike now, and I've gotten a ton of questions about it, but I didn't want to cover it earlier because I was having issues right out of the box with the suspension. The front forks were leaking oil, and they also would not hold air. The back shock was great. Very happy with that, but then you saw on Perkins Peak, I got negative pressure in here. That means the pressure was in the wrong chamber, and it actually was making the shock suck together instead of out, if that makes sense. Anyways, I reached out to Himiway and they sent me all new suspension. The back shock seemed to be working good once I got the negative pressure out of there, but I swapped it out with the new one anyways. Now with the fully functional front forks, this is a completely different bike. I put on a ton of miles up here in the mountains above Salmon Glacier, and this thing has performed super well. I have a little cheat sheet here, so I'll go over some stats with you. A lot of folks think that the frame is carbon fiber because it's painted that way. It's actually aluminum. Being aluminum, it's definitely better than steel, but it's still quite heavy. This bike comes in at 88 pounds with the battery and everything. For me, I prefer the heavier bike. I grew up riding dirt bikes, and going downhill fast on a mountain bike just terrifies me. So having the extra weight of the bike to me is a good thing. The motor is maybe my favorite part of this bike. The previous e-bike I had was a hub drive motor. This one's center drive. Honestly, I don't really know what the benefits are, but this thing is so powerful. It's a 1,000-watt motor and it can climb like you would not believe. When you're pulling big hills or steep hills, it goes through the battery very fast. But this thing is marketed for a 100 to 125 kilometer range. I don't think I'll ever get that out of it just because I'm really going places that not necessarily that the bike shouldn't go, but that your average person maybe isn't going to take it. If you're on pavement or even dirt roads and just out pleasure riding, you'll probably get upwards of 100 kilometers out of it. I've also noticed when you're down below 30% battery, it's not all that much help. You can run this bike in 5 different modes of pedal assist, or you can run just the throttle, ride it like a dirt bike. I find myself using the throttle quite often, so that is obviously pretty big battery consumer if you're doing it like that. 160 Newton meters of torque. That means something to somebody out there. It doesn't mean much to me, but it's on the sheet. The tires are 26-inch rims, 4.8-inch wide rubber. I think that's the widest that you can get on an e-bike currently. I've been super satisfied with the tires. They seem to get great traction everywhere. When I was in that deep snow up in Gun Valley, the tires were a bit of a nightmare. They seem to want to slip out, but if it's not deep, wet snow, the bike does great. I haven't had a puncture in this one yet, but I was getting a lot of punctures when I was in Mexico with the last e-bike. Just picked up cactus everywhere, but I put that green slime in there. Hasn't been an issue ever since. I haven't put slime in these tires yet, but it's going to have to happen for sure. This is a great battery in here. This is a 48 volt, 20 amp hour Samsung lithium ion battery. The big complaint for myself with this battery is the charge time. I mean, you get great range out of it. You can also charge things off of this too. You can plug your phone into it, or myself, I could plug cameras into it if I want to. But the charge time from dead is 7 hours. Lucky for myself, I have the battery bank inside, so I can just let this thing charge overnight. Typically, I would like to charge it while I'm driving, but I don't like having this whole chamber exposed while I'm driving because it'll get mud and dust and dirt and everything in there. So I leave the battery in while I'm traveling, and then I charge it at night or while I'm editing. It also has a torque sensor, something that hasn't meant a whole lot to me, but I've watched other people's reviews on the bike and they've mentioned it. And that just means that if the pedals are moving, that doesn't necessarily mean the engine is going to help you, the motor rather. You have to actually put torque onto it, and then the motor will match what you're doing. And finally, you can ride this like a regular bicycle. You can turn the motor off entirely and just ride it. But being as heavy as it is with the big fat tires, it's not really the most economical bike to try and pedal. And I read comments, people asking if this has regenerative braking. It does not. This does not charge. If you're pedaling it or with the brakes, there is no charge. So you get your battery consumption and then that's it. My previous one with the hub motor also didn't charge when you're going downhill. I'm surprised at that because the motor would be spinning while you're coasting. This one, when you're coasting, the motor's not spinning. It's just coasting like a regular bicycle hub. Anyways, that's my e-bike. Hopefully that answered all of your guys' questions. If not, drop me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, everybody.